So we're going to do our review of it's backwards, A Court of Backwards, but A Court of Wings and Ruin. I read this a long time ago. Becca read it more recently, and then Bree just finished it. So, do we want to do it like we did last time and do like the official review and then go into it?
Yeah, like the reading first and then go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's up?
I can start this for. I'm so excited. I could not wait until we got to this book. So this is my favorite out of the series. So it's gonna get like a 9.5 from me. Absolute loved it. I think I might actually give it a reread, not maybe the whole series, but definitely just Wings and Ruin. Yeah, so 9.5 out of me for me. And then are we doing Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Like Megan said, it has been a while. It has been a couple months. I just did like a quick little summary. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5. If I remember correctly, there wasn't too many scenes, but I still think like the action and plot well made up for it. So I loved this book.
Solid.
You guys?
I would probably go with 9.5 out of 10. I think I'd agree with you. I have reread the entire series multiple times, so but this book, like, so you get tearjerkers and Mist and Fury, and I cried in Silver Flames, like, sure, but this one never fails to make me sob. Like, there's a specific part that hits my daddy issues so hard that I cry even when I think about it. Like, if I'm on my period and I think about it, I'm like done.
We'll get into it.
I literally start sobbing. So, but it's like a good thing. It's like a healing kind of sob that I like. But yeah, I like this one a lot. The second one's still my favorite, but this one is a good runner-up. Or not the second one, sorry. Silver Flames is my favorite. This one's still a runner-up for that. And Chili Peppers, I'd probably say 3. Take away a half a point because of the growling in the tents with pleasure while people are dying. We know what you did, Sarah. We know what you did.
We know what you did.
But yeah, I think it was a pretty solid one. So
I think for me, I also agree. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think I probably would have given this book a 10 out of 10, but I feel like I was just dragging so much because it's so long and it's so much information, so it took me a while to get through.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it. I was just like, oh my god, I just want to get to the end of the book already. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen. So I think that's really where I took that 0.5 away from. But it definitely, I think this is the favorite out of the 3 so far. In terms of Chili Peppers, I actually felt like it was a 2. I don't know why it's lower for me.
2.
I didn't feel like it was as spicy. I don't know. Like,
no, yeah, I agree. It
wasn't as descriptive. Like, yeah, they had sex a lot, but it was like, I guess how she described it wasn't like a whole chapter. It was just like a paragraph.
Yeah.
It'd be like, me and Reese, blah, 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 blah. And then it would go on and it would be lit.
I don't think there was space for it. There's just so much.
No, there wasn't.
She just didn't. She's like, I just need to get through this war.
Yeah.
No, and I'm okay with that. I'm not, I need love in there. I need some spice, but that doesn't need to be the main plot of the story. I was here for the story, you know?
Yeah, I feel like her books, as I look at all 18 of them or whatever she has, I feel like her books that she writes are, I think I've said it before, is that the smut is great. Like, that's a great additive, but you kind of just read them for the story. which is what I like. You get the best of both worlds. But
Definitely. I like this one. I think there's just so much going on, and when Bree was getting there, I was like, "You're gonna go through it. Like, it is up, down, left, right, laughing, crying, screaming." I wanted to throw the book, tear it in half, throw it in the fire, and then burn my hand grabbing it back out because like I needed more answers, and I just absolutely loved it. And like I mentioned, I don't, I know like I want to get quantity over quality on a T-shirt. Exception.
this is the exception.
Waste and Ruin is exception.
The only exception.
They're few and far between, but I was totally okay with it. And I think this one, like Brie mentioned, it is super chunky. I think I read this one the quickest though, because every chapter just was one more like cliffhanger that I needed answers for. And I want to say it was this one because I read them all within the span of like a month, where I was just like, sleep is not important anymore. I'm just gonna be reading all day and all night.
You know, Ray says that just let Sarah J. Maas cook. Yeah, I think that's just so true with the series in terms of the first book kind of just sets everything up. Then you get to the second book, and now by the second book you're invested. By the time you start reading this book, in the beginning, the first 200 pages when she's back at the spring court, I am just like, burn it down, Feyre. Burn it down to the ground. Like, I was so mad. And you just have so much emotion. I think that's why, like, I read the first 200 pages pretty quickly, but then it kind of slowed down after that. But those first 200 pages, I think, really sold this book for me. I'm not even going to lie. The first 200.
For sure. No, I agree. Like, one of my favorite scenes, like, I have like 5 different, one in her entire series, or not even series, her entire whatever she's got going on, her Massiverse. I have like 5 favorite scenes, and one of them is when she goes to Lucian's bedroom. Like, oh my god, I'm so scared.
Have a nightmare.
Yeah, she knows Taylor's gonna walk in. I was like, that's a fucking boss ass bitch right there.
And she's
like,
wearing the really silky nightie that's barely
like
covering
chef's kiss. Beautiful. I cannot believe it.
This was a while ago, but I did pull up my text to Megan because I just wanted to add, like, Brie, I love that you were just like live tweeting. So I wrote Megan, Feyre is plotting, and I love it. She is playing chess while all these motherfuckers are playing checkers. Lady Anthe like a damn fiddle.
Oh my god.
I totally forgot you said that.
I had to pull them up because like I was thinking of also Bree's messages. I was like, I definitely want to like make sure that we are just like living the emotions as we experience them in the book. And everything in the spring court was just like chef's kiss, slow clap. I loved everything. She's playing chess while they're all playing checkers. Amazing.
Definitely. She played that part so well too. Like and part of me like understands why Tamlin's so upset, because like you got straight up bamboozled and did not see it fucking coming like whatsoever. Like I would be a little mad too, because you got to be more mad at yourself for really just not seeing that when it was like right in front of you. But yeah, the person I felt bad for in that like arc there really was Lucian though, because like was it I can't remember because it's been a while, but was the quote in there, he says I didn't realize I was the bad guy in your game or something like that.
I think he does say something like that.
Something like that. Like I didn't know I was the bad guy in your plot or something. I forget.
He was definitely hurt by it all.
Like this poor man knew nothing. Like literally knew nothing. Didn't even know when he was under the mountain, and he's like, number 2, pick number 2, and she like can't even count on her fingers. Like he still had no idea like what was going on. Like he knew like the base. Like, oh yeah, it's the 49 years thing, but like he knew nothing. Man is up here, everybody else is down here. And I feel bad for him. Just really do.
We still haven't, so as I was reading, I never heard anything about Alice. I just know that when Hybern attacked the summer court, there was no mention of her. So like I still don't even know if she's alive. So that's just for the next book. You guys probably know. But I didn't hear anything in this book about her.
I mean, I could just do you a favor and tell you that you don't hear anything.
Really? She just
Right,
completely gets
Becca?
rid of her?
I
No,
was
she's
just
not rid
thinking
of her. Like, she doesn't.
she's just not.
Oh.
She's not
There's no
back.
mention of her after,
Yeah.
because we know that her family she hails from the summer court, and then
Yeah, her
that
nephews were there,
her
right?
nephews. Yep, she has
Yeah.
two nephews. Like Megan said, I don't think we hear anything else for the series.
I'm trying to
I
think of Silver Flames in my head, and I don't, because they don't talk about anything in the next one.
No,
But
because
I don't
yeah,
think.
I think Alice kind of gets left in the past, and everyone just continues on with their
I mean,
life.
Wow.
I really wouldn't be surprised because, like, this isn't spoiling anything because you're not there yet, but she still
Mhm.
has the book that's to come after Silver Flame, so
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of go back and she resurfaces or something.
And then this book, I'm still okay. I'm still not 100% at hating Tamlin. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I think there's
I
something else
knew that
going
was
on
gonna
with him.
happen. I knew you. I knew
But
that
you're
was
too
gonna
loyal.
happen.
You're too
I'm too
nice.
nice.
She
I'm too
is.
Too nice.
fucking
Too
nice.
loyal.
Yep.
It's not that I don't know. I don't think he always meant to be bad. Or in the first book, even as what Feyre says, like or how he used to care for his court. Like he's a young lord. He kind of got his court by accident. He wasn't planning to be a high lord.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
He always does mention that he does stuff for his people in his court, and he tries his best. So I think in this book he mentions that once Hybern came, he moved everyone to the east because he didn't want them next to him, like to his people
Mm-hmm.
at some point. So I think he does care about his court. I think he does care about Feyre. I think he just also had been through so much, especially with Amarantha. And were you guys seeing that there was like I guess some type of what do they call them? Because I can't think of the word right now. I'm tired. I only had 3 hours sleep. Um, theory in regards to who his mate was,
Maybe. Go on.
and
I
saying
want
that
Keep going.
there's a theory or so to speak that Amarantha was actually his mate
I'll die on
because
that hill.
there
this
was
is news to
talking
me.
yeah they were talking about how that's why she wanted him so badly to be married to him
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and why she put that curse on him and all this stuff. So
Yep.
and that's why I think it's mentioned in this book in regards to the bonds or the mating bonds that they're not always correct
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
or they're not always the right ones. When she was talking to Reese about Azriel and possibly being with Elaine compared to being with Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel bad for him. Like he's probably been going through shit for like the longest time. It's been
So
longer, you know, and having to send all his people out too, the people, his own people, to go die
mm,
Right.
for this. He was going through all this trauma way before it, and then to be with Feyre and then to watch her die, that was just kind of like his breaking point. Where
Yeah.
now he's like, I'm gonna be controlling. I gotta protect whatever I need to protect. So like, I don't hate him. I think he definitely has a lot of issues, and he's not very good at managing those or controlling those
mm.
emotions compared to like Reese, because Reese also went through some crazy shit
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Mhm.
I mean,
So
I when I read the first book, I'm not gonna lie to you, because they don't say anything about mates in the first book or anything like that.
mhm.
Um, but in the first book, when I read it, I just had like this feeling. I was like, were they like an item? Like, is there like an unrequited love or something between them? Like, there was just for me, I couldn't not think about that. I was like, there definitely is something there. Um, and then rereading it, because there's the part where she goes to kill Feyre. Um, it like I think it said something like Tamlin when he goes to bite out Amarantha's throat, it was like he hesitated or something along those
Mhm.
lines. And I really think that I don't know if I feel like I feel like I'm good. Um I feel like it's like you said where it picks wrong sometimes. Um I think that Tamlin's original mate was supposed to be Elaine. Oh yeah, we're good. I'm trying to think of like the next couple books. I think that his original mate is supposed to be Elaine, but because she was human, it wouldn't have.
It got like passed over or something.
Yeah. Kind of like the Avatar thing, like how Yue was gonna be Avatar.
I was just thinking that.
Right, but
she couldn't be.
That's why she was empty.
Yeah. So like that kind of thing. Because if you read these books, like you pick up on how Feyre's like, oh, you know, Elaine would have loved it here. Elaine loves these flowers. Elaine would have loved a garden here. Like she goes on and on and on and on about her sister. That just is weird. So, like, I feel like there's gonna be something there. Because Sarah even said in an interview, which this isn't news to you, Brie, because you already got it spoiled, but Sarah said in an interview that she was going to make Lucian and Nesta mates, but she didn't because of like the fire, like because her drawer was fire. So Lucian's from the
fall court,
autumn court, yeah. So, but she changed her mind. So that's why I feel like we're going to get something in the next book about it. And that being said, though, I don't hate Tamlin, but I don't want there to be a redemption arc. Because it's like...
I know you're holding out hope, Bree. Bree's holding out hope.
I just don't feel...
I'm okay with no redemption
yeah.
arc. I'm okay with it, but I just don't hate him as much as everybody else does. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't like him for, like, the choice of words, but I do respect him helping at the end, even though this is, like, half of his fault, so...
Oh, yeah. No, he fucked up.
He's just cleaning up his own mess, really.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, oops, I fucked up.
I don't agree. I think I wrote that on my little sticky note. I said, I don't agree with his choices, but I don't think that he is actively... I don't see that he's, like, malicious. I don't think he's actually trying to go out there and just be evil. That's not his goal.
Well, I feel the same way about Dane. That's my take on it. Like, I think Dane's choices were awful in Fourth Wing. And was he, like, dumb? Like, yeah. But I don't think he was malicious. Like, he really just didn't know what he was fucking doing.
I think that they're both impulsive with their, like, protectiveness to the point where they don't think, you know, 5-6 steps down the line. So I do see, like, that similarity. But I don't know. I'm just a hater, so I don't like Tam.
I feel like I don't even hate Dane. Like, I did when you finish the first book, because the first book, it's like, you think that he did it intentionally, and then you get to the second book and you're like, no, he didn't actually do that intentionally. But he still should have, you know, respected her boundaries and not have read her memories or mentioned it, you know?
Yeah, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Like, it's a thing to put into perspective, too, and I didn't think about this until recently. Like, because in Silver Flames, when you read it, you'll understand it's from someone else's point of view and how they see other people and how they perceive other people. Like, in these books, it's Feyre's point of view. So she's already mad that Tamlin did this when she was supposed to, when they were supposed to be in love, did this, and then continues to kind of be a prick by saying, like, certain things. So it's just, like, it's, like, elevated, when in reality, like, it wouldn't be as bad, because he, like, kind of helped at the end. But it's all about their point of view, you know? Like...
Yeah, it's Feyre's point of view.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to think from Tamlin's point of view. If I was Tamlin, and this happened, and I was being protective, and then she just disappeared, and then sent me a letter. Didn't even talk to me. Didn't have a conversation. Was just like, deuces, I'm safe. Don't come looking for me. I would have been like, the fuck?
XOXO,
and then,
Gossip Girl.
And then not only that, it's like, well, he doesn't truly know who Rhys is. He thinks, just like everybody else, that Rhys is this terrible guy, that he's going to kill her, and he truly thinks that she's in danger. So I'm like, I can't really fault him for that. Do I think he's wrong and his actions are wrong? Absolutely, because I get to see Feyre's point of view, and I get to know that Rhys is actually a good guy, and she never was in any true danger. Let me just say the representation in this book too, for like LGBTQ.
Oh yeah, because this is the book where they say it, right?
Yep, that more is.
Oh, that story killed me.
She's bisexual. She's bisexual, but she prefers females.
No, I think she's gay. She's gay.
But
what?
There's a little more that Brie will find out.
Oh, well, I was just talking about this book. She definitely said she was gay.
She said that she does both, but she prefers women.
Right, but then I think we find out a little more background in Silver Flames.
She was with somebody.
There's a scene in Silver Flames that we learned something.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Somebody was. So it was a queen.
Yeah, it was the queen. It was the queen. It was the queen.
Yeah.
She was the queen, and she died. Yep. She was one of the mortal queens. Yeah.
Yes.
That was like the love of her life.
Yep.
Right. And then there's a scene in it'll get like talked about a little more, but yeah, I think she's already alluding to that fact. So
yeah.
And then Helion,
Helion, like helium.
He's like, love is love, baby.
Yeah,
I know he don't care.
Yeah.
And then Thestian is gay, and he has a lover that's like his general or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
If you think that's like something, you should read Throne of Glass, because actually, Crescent City might be even more of an ally.
Do you see my Crescent Cities? They're waiting. They're ready.
Can't read them yet. Sorry.
I can't even think. I can't even think about what happened in this book because it was just so much. I just know first 200 pages, fire straight up. Then she gets out of there, and then it's like in the middle they're just talking about stuff. I don't really even remember the middle of the book though, but then I remember the end of the book. But that's just memory.
The good thing is in this one they talk about like history and stuff like that, but it's Silver Flames that you have to watch out for. Like, there's a lot in like a good like middle section of that book that there's just a lot of lore dumping. So make as many notes as possible, because sometimes I even forget like it happened because there's just so much in that book. But I think my first crying part in this book was when Azriel and Cassian came down to save them on the ice.
I thought Feyre was done.
I literally was.
You cried?
Crying, yes.
I was.
No, stressed. I was hyped. I was like, let's
crying from excitement. Yeah, relief. Yeah.
I was freaking out. I'm like, this is just like the realist in me. I was like, nothing's gonna happen. There's 2 more books.
Yeah.
But still, like, I was getting really stressed.
I think it was like then until like she gets back to the House of Wind and she sees Rhys. That's where it was like crashing down on me too. That was like so happy to be back together or whatever. Even though he like willingly was like, hey, go fuck shit up. Like, that's fine. You'll be good.
Yeah, but I would have to say that was probably my favorite part in the book. Like, that's how I got so like emotional. I was screaming. Nick was upstairs. He's like, what is happening? And I was like, my boy Cassian just showed up. They're done. They're done. They're not even gonna live. It's a wrap.
They're not even gonna live.
I just imagine like the Avengers, like when everyone's coming down from the sky and do like the Spider-Man pose. I was like,
that's exactly how I imagined it.
She's like, the earth shook and the ice was cracking and all that, and I was like, who could be this powerful? And I was like, okay, it's the boys, it's the Bat Boys.
The boys with all their siphons glowed up like psychopaths.
I know, the red and the blue. I was so excited, and like you're saying, Brie, I was freaking out because the couple paragraphs before that, I was like, there's no way. I was like, she's just a little baby in comparison to these guys. She's really hasn't harnessed her powers yet. You know, at that point, I think she was still getting over like the poisoning, so she was really weak and all that stuff. And she was just panicking, and I was like, what is going to happen now? And our boys came down. I think I was crying like tears of joy and just relief, because I was just, you know me, I get stressed and I get panicked.
So, I don't think it's in this book. I was just skimming, and I don't think it's in this one. I think it's in the second one. where they meet with, it's the second one, where they meet with the queens in the cabin, or in the castle, the Iron Castle, whatever. And she says, like, I'm the Morgan, the truth teller, you will tell me, blah, blah, blah. Is that, like, is her power, like, what is it, coercion? Like, they're
Is she
trying.
like Wonder Woman with like the lasso of truth?
Yeah, like, getting it out
I
of
don't
them.
know.
Like, I don't. But then I think there's a. I don't know if it's this book or not, and I won't be really specific. But there's a line that she says. It's either in this one or Silver Flame, or it might even be in the next one, actually. But there's
I think it's the next one. I know where you're going with
a
this.
line that she says, like, something, and she's like, oh, how do you know? And she's like, because I know the truth, or I know this. And it's like, but, so you see the future? I mean, I'm still really confused, like, what you do.
I don't think I picked that up on that. I don't know. Maybe more has just completely gone right over my head for me.
Well, if you
like,
think
I didn't
that,
even remember her storyline.
She's like almost non-existent for the next two books, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, confusion.
Yeah. I also, like, didn't see Elaine becoming a seer. I did not see that coming.
I didn't see that either.
That was, like, out of left field, and all I thought of was Game of Thrones. Like, when he rolls his eyes in the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or he becomes the warg, or whatever it's
Raven.
called.
Yeah,
Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah.
That's all I kind of got with that. But that's kind of interesting that, like, I don't know. I can't really say much, but I guess I could say kind of what my one theory is. That's kind of unrelated. So you know how they say in these books, like, they don't say, oh, thank God, they say, thank the mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I have this weird, because they don't really elaborate on, like, who the mother is. Like in, I think Thrown a Glass, they say thank the goddess or something, but you know who it is. And then in Crescent City, they don't, like, or no, they do. They have many gods, and they name them, and you meet them, and whatever. Like, it's very, like Norse mythology. Like, you meet them all. But here, they don't really say anything, and I have this, like, theory that there's, like, the gods that we don't know about, and Feyre is the mother because she knows all her power. Like, she has all these powers. Like, she basically rules, like, over all, technically, because she has all the court's powers. And, like, she's not, like, defeated. She has control of all these elements, and she's, like, the top dog. So I have this theory that she's, like, the mother god that they always say. And then Elaine being the seer, I feel like that is kind of something else too. Like, they're getting, like, godlike powers when they either go into the cauldron and come out, kind of thing, or they're, like, reborn.
I did not even think about that. She has all 7 High Lord's powers, and then is, like, the key to, like, defeating Hybern, who was going to destroy the world. So when you say, like, thank the mother, like, thank her for doing that.
Exactly.
I kind of thought Elaine and Nesta there, after their cauldron trauma, was, like, their personalities. So, like, Elaine was always quiet, but, like, Feyre did mention that she noticed everything. Like,
yeah,
even
that's
when
a good point.
she would get, like, the little paints, she noticed everything, but she wouldn't say anything. And I think that's why, like, when she was getting those seer abilities, they were like, Elaine, like, what's going on? Where are you? And she was really quiet, and she would see things. And then Nesta is Nesta.
Yeah.
And has,
just
like,
angry.
Nesta's got that anger, that fiery anger.
That intensity, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was more of, like, a play on their personalities, but that is
That's
much
a good one too.
deeper. That was, like a very surface level thing. I was like, what is her power gonna be? And I didn't see her, like, being, like, a seer, but I was like, it kind of makes sense because she's also always caring for everyone else, and, like, she was also trying to warn them. She just didn't understand what she was seeing. So I felt like that was very Elaine to, like, notice all these things, but technically not get what's going on with her brain.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still trying to like understand what her like visions, premonitions are.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nesta.
My girl.
Yeah.
Um.
In regards to real quick with Elaine,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the end when she stabs the King of Hybern, I thought of Game of Thrones too. I was like, okay, Arya Stark, what is happening?
I
You
thought
Yeah.
know,
that
it's the most
too.
unexpected
Like the
character
underdog.
to actually go in there and do something.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, Elaine. I
And
was
like
very surprised
Mm-hmm.
by that.
I thought back to the cabin because I think a scene in the cabin, Elaine is like, "Do you really have to skin that animal on the dining room table?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I was
Mhm.
like, she just stabs this guy, no questions asked. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I
Mhm.
love the growth. You know, she did what she had to do. I thought it would
Mhm.
be Nesta in the
Yeah, I thought Nesta
come
was
up.
gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Nesta was gonna pull a Drax and just like be
Well,
stabbing Hybern.
she was shielding Cassian,
Right.
Mhm.
so she
Which
couldn't.
was also like crazy to me. I was like, I really thought that she'd go for the kill shot, but
I fucking cried at that part. By the way, you could put a blue tab there. when he was like, "I wish we had more time," I was like, "No,
Mhm.
oh no,
I was like, oh.
oh he's so sweet."
mm,
I just like, I mean, since we have Elaine on the subject, because it is like a weird topic for people. Like, she's a very hit or miss character. I know so many people that hate her guts, and then so many people that not love her, but like don't mind her. Um, what are our takes on her? Because we got her a lot in this book, which we're gonna get her more in Silver Flames, but we got a lot of her being strange.
mhm. What do you think?
I don't hate her. I don't hate her at all.
I'm option number two. I'm just like, she's just kind of there. She's the
Yeah.
non-problematic sister, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's
Mhm.
just
She's middle child.
around. Yeah, that too. She's the middle
Oh
child,
yeah,
which
she
are
is.
usually forgotten about.
Yeah.
Sorry,
She's
Brie.
chilling.
Damn,
Yeah.
I forgot
I
about
relate.
that. Yep.
That's
Hmm.
so true. The birth order, like, is coming through. But yeah, I don't hate or like her. I don't think she's like a strong character versus a weak character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't, I really just, it's just like, meh, I don't feel strongly either way.
Like, do we think she's gonna, if she is the character in the book after Silver Flames, like if she's part of that, whatever she's gonna do, like, do we see her getting better? Hopefully. Like, do we see her growing into who she is?
That is my theory, yes, and it only comes from the knowledge I have of finishing the series to date. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get that conclusion yet, just yet, Brie, because like we're saying, she really doesn't get much. I was gonna say screen time, page time, I guess, up
Yeah.
until Wings and Ruin just yet. But I think we definitely like learn a little bit more, and we get a little more interactions with her over the next two books. But I would hope that she gets some more background and growth for book six, just because I really don't feel any type of way about her just yet, because
Mm-hmm.
she really,
Mhm.
it's really been a non-issue.
Because, like, Feyre, you're with Feyre, but, like, since book one, everyone hated Nesta. So it's like
Mhm.
everybody felt a certain type of way.
Hmm.
And Elaine, it was just like, oh, little Elaine, like, haha.
Yep. I
You
know
know?
for a
Oh.
fact, I texted you multiple times. I'm like, Nesta's a bitch. I fucking hate Nesta. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
over
said
and
that too
over.
in the beginning. I
Yeah.
was like, her sister's such a bitch. And then
Yep.
this I think I probably cried 3 times. I cried 3 times this
Only
book.
3.
Only 3. I don't know why you guys
We
cry
should
so
do
much.
ratings
I'm
now
very
every
sensitive.
time. How many times did you cry? What are
Oh,
your
we
chili
should we should
peppers?
do we should do blue tabby ratings.
Yes. Yep. We
Um,
should.
but I cried the first time I cried was when they finally like were together after they rescued Elaine and they snuggled together again.
Oh yeah.
And she held
Yeah.
them tight, and I was like, "Oh, this is so sweet. They're finally
Mm-hmm.
getting along."
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was finally, you know, happy about Nesta and everybody. But like, I get it. I have no problem with Elaine. I think she's probably gonna grow further, just like Feyre. Feyre at the beginning of the book was like useless, honestly,
Oh yeah.
in the beginning of the
Yeah.
series, and now she's like this powerful being, but it's only because of the environment that she's put in time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to give Nesta that same amount of time to grow. Like Nesta wasn't doing anything, but then here she is sawing off the King of Hybern's freaking head because she was put in a situation where
Mm-hmm.
her as of right now, I know this. Wait, can I tell other people if they're watching this and they want to review?
What's with
Just
the
tell them
birthday
spoilers ahead.
balloons? What
what
just
about
What the heck?
happened?
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
What happened?
Oh wait, it's because you
It's
went
not my
like
birthday.
this?
Maybe.
Do it again.
No, that was
Yeah.
weird.
I
No.
thought you were like
That's
in your
so
house for a
weird.
second. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, okay.
Nick's home.
Yeah,
Nick's
hooray!
not yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it because I feel like we've said it before.
Yeah, so
It's been
it
out
was
long
spoiled
enough.
for me.
Yeah.
It's spoiled for me. It's spoiled on TikTok that Cassian and Nesta are mates, and that's why she is just so protective of him. Right? She was put in that situation where my mate's gonna die. I better do something right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then she was strong about it. So I think as these characters are put through these like trials, they're going to become stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the same can be said for Elaine. She just hasn't had the opportunity to do that yet.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess like, oh, the one thing I guess before the war is when was it where they meet Baraxis? That's this book, right? That is because
Yes.
they were in the he was in the they were it was in the war. I think my favorite thing of this whole fucking series is that this
I know where
man
you're going with this.
this man is not.
I sent Megan memes about this
Yes.
where you weren't there at that point.
Yes.
Cassian, the general of the Illyrians, the feared, Cassian the mighty. Bryaxis doesn't fuck with Bryaxis.
Yeah, he sees the shadow. He's like, nope.
And they mess with him over and over. It's like the ongoing troll. It is so funny.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and I love that like he went down there to like help them, but he was definitely shitting bricks at the same time. Like, I'm gonna help, but I don't like this.
It's like when your man goes to kill a big spider.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't want to kill this big spider,
But I
he has
gotta
to
do
put
it.
on a brave
Yeah.
face to get that spider. Yeah, I
Like,
love it.
when he got them out of there, he just booked it. Like, he ran.
He's like,
Get me the
okay,
fuck out.
we're done. Okay, we're done.
I'm trying to figure out.
I just love the ongoing joke with him. It's too good.
That's why I love Cassian. He's just too funny. He cracks me up so much in this book.
Yeah, I love
Like,
him.
he's just him and Reese. Him and Reese are just total comedians.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny too is that Azrael is actually funny, and we see it more later. But like, he actually like his jokes.
He throws some
funny.
punches on there.
He does.
He has little zingers. Like,
Yeah.
he won't say much, but like just the one-liners that will like make me be laughing. I just put Cass, Reese, whoever it is, on their ass. Like,
Yeah.
I just love it. He just puts everyone in their place with like a quick sentence, and he just has a great sense of humor too. But Cassian in this book, I like that again, like, he kind of has a front. He like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is Cassian, the general of the like most feared race of fairy, that they're the most brutal. And then I don't know if it's this book, but Cassian just likes to have fun and chill and make fun of people and just chill with his homies. And I love that, like that double kind of facet of him, of Reese, all these guys. One thing I did want to go back to is if we're talking about the meeting of the High Lords, Tamlin lost like 10 points on this. That little thing he said, speaking of, Reese, he's like, oh, did you ever notice that noise that she makes right before I was like, Tamlin?
I'm pretty sure I went like this. I was like that was my reaction because I was like, oh no.
I was like, low blow, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna get fucked for that.
See, that line was spoiled for me, so I knew it was coming, and I was like,
oh,
that's.
I didn't have the same reaction.
Yeah,
but I still was mad during that whole thing because I honestly, when I read that chapter, I pictured myself like actually at the table and like what I would say to him. I'd have been like, listen, Tamlin, you just sit the fuck down. Like, if I was a high lady or high lord, you need to sit the fuck down because I don't care who you fuck, who he fucks, who she fucks. We're here to talk business. Like, I don't have time for your shit. You're 300 something years old, but you act like you were fucking born yesterday. And sit the fuck down.
He's playing high school games. And then again, later on, I don't know what he's saying, but again, as putting someone in their place, where he's like, watch the way you talk about my high lady. I'm like,
I love him.
Reese.
I was him. I know I texted Megan about that. I was like, jaw on the floor, tears, crying, me running laps. I was just living through this. So this just kind of sums back why I'm such a Tamlin hater. But anyway, My favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did not agree with Tamlin the way he talked that way. That chapter pissed me off, and that's like where I was really mad at him. But once again, I was like, he has not had time to air out his laundry between him and Reese and stuff. So it's coming out now, but it's not the time for it to come out now. I'm like, we're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of my lines, like right before they go in. So, you know how Reese agreed that he would show his wings and show who he truly was? And I just love because Cassian goes, "There's no going back now. Are you sure about this?" Reese says, "I figured it's time for the world to know who really has the largest wingspan." I was like, yeah!
It's still not him.
It's still not him.
It's still not him.
He'll never let it go. He'll never let it go. He swears.
They can take out that measuring tape all they want. It's still not him.
That's like the continued, I guess, ongoing jokes is the wingspan, Cassian and being terrified of this thing, but also still mentioned again when all the High Lords came together as the fact that Cassian is banned from.
Yes, that's my favorite one too. There's no context. He just knocked a building down. Yeah. They're like, no, get out.
Like, and Tarquin will never forgive him. Tarquin will never forgive him. That's the best thing. And I actually think it's so great because Feyre, the first time she met him and then later, he is probably the most, I don't want to say easygoing, but he's the most open-minded of the High Lords, I want to say. Yeah. He is always willing just to hear you out. But on this one thing, he will not budge.
And he didn't even send the blood rubies. He was just like, get the fuck out of here. Don't come back.
I know. And, like, that's the fact. Like, the blood rubies are, like, the customary thing. Like, right? Like, they have a target on their head. Like, I wonder if he's like, Cassian's not even worth my time. Just if I ever see your face again, it's on. Yeah. What happened?
I gotta know. Like, was he too drunk and he just fucking knocked down a building? Like, I gotta know the context.
Was he partying with Azenmore and like something happened? Like, I just need to know. But these like ongoing background jokes are hilarious.
Yeah, it's on page 412. Just saw it right now. It says in italicized, "I wrecked one building."
One building.
For now, he's banned.
Right, and then like the entire siege against Highburn wrecked their entire port, I guess, and you know that was cool. But a single building with Cassian is inexcusable.
Yep, no, can't do that.
Oh my goodness.
Another one of my favorite lines by Cassian is when Tarquin actually takes back the red rubies, and then he says something. And he's like, "You might want to double check with Amryn. She's like grown quite attached to it. She might not give it back."
That too. Like,
his little lines.
Amryn loving Jules, and then Amryn also being like a folklore. Like you tell your kids about the boogeyman. Like Amryn's the boogeyman. Like And I think Megan, you alluded to this a couple reviews ago, but like at least the information we have now, I'm like, what is she that people are so afraid of her? And then I'm definitely skipping around a bit. That scene with Amryn, I was ugly crying.
Oh, in the cauldron?
In the cauldron.
I lost it, yeah.
And what she turned into, and I thought she died. Like, I had gotten so attached to her. I didn't know if she was gonna come back, or if she did, or if she'd just be this, like, celestial monster thing. I was freaking out to the point, and I think I might have texted you this. I vividly remember I had to put the book down and was just going through tissues, and like I couldn't wipe my tears fast enough to even keep reading, and I wanted to because I needed to know some answers. But I was like, what is going on with her? And she's fine, but I was freaking out.
I was more like freaking out because I thought she betrayed them.
Yeah, I was like,
because she always mentions that she's not of this world and she wants to
go
back.
Home, yeah.
Right, yeah. So I thought that as well, but I was like, she's either dead, betrayed, or she saw this as her way to freedom, because I think she mentioned that the prison is, she would rather go to the prison than be trapped the way she is, right? Like she mentions, like, this is like no fate for someone like me, being trapped in her, like, whatever fae body. I don't even know if she's a fae. I don't know what she is, but she's like, I just want to be free. Right. I should say previously, before all this. But she's like, I would just want to be back to how I am, where I was. And I'm like, oh, did she just use this chance to just fucking dip and go back to whatever her home realm thing is?
So I don't know if you guys have seen like any fan art or anything out there, but when they're in battle, and like, I don't know if you caught on, when Feyre's watching Rhys and Helion and Callias, from the Winter Court.
Mhm.
She says like she saw them turn into these creatures.
Mhm.
Like I didn't catch that the first time because I was like in it, but the second time around, like for Rhys, I just pictured this giant like cave dwelling fucking monster with wings and like sharp teeth. And then I pictured like a polar bear or something for the other guy from the Winter Court. But like I just think I wish we got a little bit more of like the other ones, what they kind of looked like in battle. Like are these like, because you know you have Tamlin with his like wolf-ish form thing,
Mhm.
but is he just, does he, fuck, I can't even say much about this really, but is he like special? Is Tamlin special because he can shift into a wolf at will? Like that's not his final form. Like obviously Rhys, that's his like final form. Because he always said like you don't want to see what's underneath this kind of thing, like the
It's like
real
beast
me.
form. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know. It's just I wonder, does every High Lord have that? Because I think they said Helion was just like this embodiment of like the sun,
The sun. Yep.
which I pictured like, this is gonna be really like cultural appropriation, but I pictured like a Buddha-ish type of figure with like suns like wrapping around them, like glowing kind of thing. That's what I pictured. And then the Winter Court was just this giant like bear, like made of like ice. And that's what I pictured for him. But I just want to know, like, is Tamlin just special because he can turn into a wolf whenever, or like is that his form that he just pulls out all the time?
I don't think that's his final form. Because why would everybody else have like 8 different forms and then, Tamlin's original power is shapeshifting,
Mm-hmm.
and then he turns into his little creature thing, but that doesn't I don't think that that's
Because
his true form like
it's
the rest of them.
interesting because they all have, like Helion has the light. Um, that's, I can't tell you about the Dawn Court yet,
Hmm.
but you have Helion with the whatever, and then you have her embodiment of flame with Baron. Like she has all these things, but when she's going through the motions of what her powers are from each court, hers for Tamlin is she she doesn't ever shapeshift.
She does.
She
She
does
does.
when she's
She
in the spring.
shapeshifted.
I think you're
Sorry.
gonna say spring. Go ahead.
She shapeshifted in A Court of Mist and Fury when she turned into Tarquin to unlock the thing. I
That's
mentioned that
right.
last time.
Okay.
And she turned into Yanthe
Mm,
this past time as well
that's
to get
that's
into the
right.
camp.
So, but it's just so weird that that's his niche. That's his thing that he gave to her. Like, wouldn't you think it's something related to the Spring Court? Because like Winter Court, you have ice. Baron has
Autumn's fire.
fire. Like the Night Court
Summer's
has.
water.
Does, yeah, exactly.
Does she ever have claws that come out when she's
Ye-
upset?
mm,
I
Because that's Tamlin. Like every time he gets mad, then he starts to turn
then
into
the
beast form.
beast form. Yeah. I don't know, but I had a theory
I don't
about that when I
remember.
was reading because, right, like at that scene, I always thought it was strange that the Illyrian men can choose when to extend their wings out, and I always thought that was a form of shapeshifting. So I thought that was
Mm.
specific to Tamlin. Okay. So
Wait, to
then
put the
when,
wings in and out?
yeah,
Only
because,
Reese can do that.
right, so like I thought that was like a form of
Oh,
shapeshifting because
oh,
he has that Illyrian.
oh, yeah,
So I like, and with Cassian and Az, they don't.
yeah,
But Tamlin, I'm sorry, Reese does. So I thought that was a form of shapeshifting. So I agree with that. And then it was confirmed when he turned into like that beast that we didn't get much description on.
yeah.
But I was always curious about that too. Like I thought Tamlin was the only one that had that specific, like that was his specific power. And I always wondered if there was some sort of like ancestor that they shared because even before Tamlin Tamlin killed Risa's mom and sister, he mentions that their dads hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Tamlin's father and Rhys's father hate each other.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was because of political High Lord and court issues, or if it was because of maybe some background familial stuff. But I always thought that it was weird that they were so interconnected when every other High Lord kind of only, cross paths at work. There's not a lot of beef. And then I was like, why are these two so interconnected? And we're going back to the mates thing, how they kind of both fell for the same mate. So I always wondered if they were connected on a deeper level than we got. That's just my theory. I
That's an
haven't seen
interesting
anything
theory.
about it, but I just thought it was strange that Sarah J. Maas would add that stuff and really not delve deeper into it. And maybe it's just to create theories, or maybe it was just a string that was left undone. But I was always curious about that. Like, what is the history? I want more history. And it seems like there's much more beef than just some courts having some issues. And also, Spring Court down here, Night Court up here, they don't even have border issues. Like, what is going on? They have to travel so far. Like, I'd understand if they were neighbors and they had border disputes, which they've talked about before, but they're not. So why did they have so much contact?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's kind of what I want in the next book to like kind of highlight.
And this might just be completely baseless and me just being a crazy nut job, but I always thought, like, especially with this transformation of Rhys, I was like, why is it just Rhys, and why is it not also any other Illyrian that can take their wings in and out?
Well, doesn't he glamour them?
You just might have debunked my whole theory. I thought that he could actually extend.
Put him in and
yeah.
No, I thought he glamored them though.
I feel would his glamour be so strong that it would fool everybody?
Well, he
I know he's very strong, but I'm just curious.
I don't think it's
I would think so, yeah.
Well, but I don't think it's a full glamour. I think I think he said he's got pocket not dimensions, but little dark shadow pocket kind of things that he can just throw them into. And that's his glamour.
Well, then I would come back with you. If he did have shadow pockets, I would think that Az would be even better than that because he is a shadow slinger.
Yeah, but we don't know what his shadows are yet, though.
That's true. But
yeah.
I will come back to this because I really thought that he was physically pulling them in and pulling them out. But maybe
that's how I pictured it too.
Right?
But,
yeah, I always thought
I might be glamored.
Yeah, I'll go back, but I always thought it was a glamour.
I will go back to this because I was definitely riding on that.
I was gonna say, I think I just want to have a moment of silence.
I was just gonna say, yeah. How did you feel, Bree? Share it with the class.
How many? Okay, well, Serial, R.I.P. R.I.P.
Justice for Serial.
Oh god, that was so sad.
They were real since the beginning.
They never lied.
I was very upset. Yeah, they never lied in terms of the whole thing. I don't know why. I'm still a little curious as to why, since the very beginning, they were like, okay, I'm going to help you out, after she captured. I guess because she saved their life, its life.
Yeah, she saved it.
And then it's kind of nice to see them all together, but I was so pissed at this bitch, Ianthe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Feyre. She was so clever, this book. So clever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought she was going to use her powers to fight off them, but I know she's exhausted from fighting. And then she was like, you know what? I'm going to preserve what I got here, and I'm just going to go and use my environment. And the whole situation was just amazing.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Her moving the rock a couple inches or however much it was every day, I was like, you are a genius. Yep. Just moving it incrementally. I was dying.
Mm-hmm.
She was ready to cause chaos. The moment she stepped in,
it was the long con. She was buckled in for the ride.
Psychological warfare.
Yeah.
So, did you really think that Rhys died, Brie?
No, I said there's no way. There's 2 other books, and I don't think anybody would want to read this series if Reese was dead. I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, that's it. I'm done. There's no point in even continuing this book.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew there had to be a way. There had to be a way, but that was very rough. I cried and I knew something was going to happen because I had seen like some pictures and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I couldn't tell if that was in A Court of Mist and Fury versus Wings and Ruin because he goes down again in Mist and Fury.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, maybe this is what that was referring to.
Yeah.
But then I was like, nope, I might get heartbroken again. So let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so upset. I was just so in my feels because I was like reading how she felt about him is what made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about like everything they had went through and like feeling the bond, not being able to like pull on it anymore. And she was like, there's nothing there. And
Mm-hmm.
like she's freaking out. I'm like, holy crap. Like that just made me bawl my eyes out. I couldn't even read the page. I was like, I need to take a breather.
Right, you need to wipe those tears away, girl.
Because I think it literally, it was like the chapter of like her dad coming to save the day. And then I'm trying to find it. I think it's right here. 666. That's how I remember it. Like literally 30 pages later, this motherfucker dies. Reese dies. And I was like, from when they find out that's her dad's there, and then her dad dies, and then Reese dies, like I'm crying
R.I.P.
the whole 30 pages. I was crying. Like my eyes were just so puffy.
Those last 100 pages put us all through the fucking ringer.
Oh my god. Literally. Like, she knows how to fucking do it. Like, really making you miserable and suffering and want to hate your life. Like, she pulled out the daddy issues so quick.
She hit us in the childhood.
And I was like, oh my god. Like, this hit on a personal note. And I don't think it should do that. But it did.
Yeah. Cameron, the bone carver. Papa
the Weaver.
The Weaver.
Yeah.
Amryn. Reese, Feyre, the Cauldron, Elaine, Nesta, Cassian. I'm like, what the actual fuck? I was losing my mind. And I'm sure I probably missed 10 other points that just, I think that whole last 100 pages, I probably just became dehydrated because all of the fluids were just tears that day.
Yeah. I started crying once when Reese did his little speech and spoke to everyone. I was like, oh, stop saying your goodbyes.
Oh my goodness.
Stop right here. No more.
And then they were getting overrun, and then Cassian was like, I got this, and he's getting surrounded, and then like the speech, I was like, oh my god, everyone's gonna die.
Azriel's running back in there, he's dragging his wings. I'm like, no, they said don't drag your wings.
I know, and then poor Az can't catch a break.
I know. I'm skipping through it now, but I can't even like read the pages because I know I'm gonna cry. Like right now, if I read them, I'll cry. Like it hurts.
If I had a heart monitor on, my heart is beating so quick right now.
Yeah.
Like I can't. I'm getting in the feels again.
Yep.
You know what? At least this book ended on a happy note. Okay, at least she finally can fly. Her and Reese. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That also was freaking me out with the Tamlin scene when he's like, you need to. And I was like, oh my god, she's just going to plummet into the sea. And she started flying. And I don't know. I just am very cynical. And I think every bad thing that can happen will happen. And I'm so glad it ended on a good note because it was not looking good for quite some time.
It never looks good for quite some time.
I think now for the next books, I'm interested to see what happens because this ended on a happy note, right? Hybrid's taken care of. They have the human queens, but like they're fae. They got this. Like they have magic that these queens have, sort of deal. So I am interested to know who's like the next enemy or what's going to be like the next major conflict now that they've kind of dealt with this threat.
Is that it for our review then?
I think so.
I'd say so.
Okay. All right, y'all. This was our faces. Oh, it's the balloons!
Is it the peace sign?
Wait, I think it is. Hold on. Damn it. I don't know. Why is
Something
it
like
my grandma. Hold on. Oh my god, that was the best moment that could have happened. Oh, Jesus.
I'm on my phone, y'all. I leave for Puerto Rico in like 5 hours, so.
That's what the balloons are for.
Yep.
Okay, that was our review of A Court of Wings and Ruin by SJM. So, yeah, until next time, peace out.
Deuces. See ya.
Bye.
I did it. Bye.
No balloons.